Our business editor, Kate Moody, joins me in the studio. Hi, good to see you, Kate.
Hi, Inka.
So give us some details about how the situation in the Middle East is playing out on energy markets. How are oil and gas prices reacting?
Well, Yinka, we're really seeing this energy infrastructure being targeted in the Gulf region. And we've seen European natural gas prices jumping by as much as 35% earlier in the session, hitting 74 euros per megawatt hour. That's their highest level in 3 years. They did settle closer to 62 euros at the end of the trading session. Just a reminder of how quickly these prices have evolved. The price of gas in Europe has more than doubled since the war began. It's all a question of supply and transport. A more volatile session for oil prices. The international benchmark Brent crude briefly jumped to $119 per barrel earlier before reversing. And as you can see here, settling closer to 106. That is still up from an average $70 per barrel before the war started. US WTI at around 94.53 there. Those drops coming as the Israeli prime minister said the war could end sooner than anyone thought. Well, Iran's South Pars gas field, which was targeted by Israeli strikes on Wednesday, mostly produces gas for domestic use. It provides 80% of Iran's natural gas needs. But the retaliatory attacks on the Ras Laffan gas facility in Qatar will have a major impact on global supplies of liquefied natural gas, which is widely used in heating and electricity. Officials say it could take years to fully repair the damage. Luke Schrago has more.
The Ras Laffan industrial city's importance to Qatar's energy exports can't be underestimated. The world's largest such facility, it produces a fifth of the world's liquefied natural gas, or did before it was hit by Iranian retaliatory attacks. Qatar's state-owned energy producer warned disruptions could last 3 to 5 years.
These are long-term contracts that we have to declare force majeure. We already declared, but that was shorter term. Now it's whatever the period is. For production to restart, first we need hostilities to cease.
Qatar Energy estimates the strike knocked out 17% of Qatar's total LNG export capacity, costing 26 billion euros to build. The damaged units were part of infrastructure that turns gas reserves into super-chilled fuel that's ready for transport, itself incredibly flammable and dangerous. And the sheer complexity of such facilities means repairs are no easy matter.
Any damage in the gas infrastructure that's serious like it is right now in Qatar may set us back several years before, even if the Strait of Hormuz is opened, can be exported back into the markets. So the impact is immediate and it's very, very long lasting.
Ras Laffan's exports are sent worldwide, with Asia highly represented. Many nations there reliant on gas had already been instituting measures designed to cut down on energy use.
The governments of India and Pakistan are already taking measures to prevent fuel shortages because India depends a lot on cooking gas. In Africa, there are some countries like Kenya where stocks are very low.
Experts believe any hope that energy flows might stabilize within weeks of any reopening of the Strait of Hormuz now lies, like parts of Ras Laffan, in pieces.
The central banks of England, Sweden and the Eurozone have all followed the US Federal Reserve in keeping interest rates on hold this Thursday and warning that the cost of living will rise. The European Central Bank raised its forecast for inflation from 1.9% to 2.6% for the year. That's far beyond its 2% target. It also slashed its growth forecast from 1.2 to 0.9% for the year. ECB President Christine Lagarde said the war and in particular high energy prices have made the outcome for the European economy significantly more uncertain.
It will have a material impact on near-term inflation through higher energy prices. Its medium-term implications will depend both on the intensity and duration of the conflict and how the energy prices affect consumer prices in the economy.
The World Trade Organization has also slashed its predictions for global growth and trade. Its latest outlook sees world merchandise trade growth slowing dramatically from 4.6% last year to 1.9% this. Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala says the conflict in the Middle East could now have serious repercussions on food security.
The Middle East conflict also threatens global food security, since shipping disruptions and higher energy costs reduce the supply and raise the cost of fertilizer. A prolonged interruption in supply could ripple through food systems, prompting farmers to reduce their use of fertilizers and plant less input-intensive crops. Under these circumstances, it's essential to keep global food trade channels open and predictable, allowing food supplies to flow to where they're most needed.
And Yinka, I've been looking at the question of food security and water security as well in the Gulf in regard to this conflict. That's in this week's People and Profit. It's on the France 24 website now.
We'll make sure to catch that. Kate, thank you so much for that business